Hare Krishna. Om Gyan Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we'll continue our discussion on fifth canto, fifth chapter. So here Rishabdev is teaching. So this is one of the most important instructions of Bhagavatam.
I will share the screen for you. So here we are discussing on the instructions of Lord Rishabdev. So the first instruction is नायम देहो देह भाजानुते कष्टान कामान अर्हते विड्भुजामे तपो दिव्यम पुत्र कयेन सत्तम शुद्धे तस्मात् ब्रह्म सौख्यम तनंतम. So then the knots in the heart, this we have discussed. So there are so many knots. This expands into the concept of I and mine. So here the shloka that is discussed. The shloka that is discussed in Mahat Seva Dvaram Ahurumuktes Tamo Dvaram Yoshitam Sangi Sangam Mahantaste Samachitta Prashanta Vimanmat Sudha Savoye. So when we come in, the sadhus they travel around so that they can give an opportunity for the living entities to get free from the bondage, and by serving them only we will be free from bondage. And whether one wants to merge into Lord's existence or associate supreme, one should render service to Mahatmas, then that will happen. So we discussed there also. The only formula that works is when we are uh, serving and pleasing a Vaishnava, Lord is pleased. So Lord pleases, not circuit. Then the next is those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love for God. They do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. And anything that is done, it is all Dehatma Buddhi, not interested in mingling with people who are busy in eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. And they are not attached to homes and all these things because they are the knots that are holding. And the next sloka is says that Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya kritamna prasadam vedatme prasannapi klesha dasadeho. So this is all actually sinful activities. So then there are Vishais, materialistic people, we should not associate with them. We should associate with Mahatmas, and this is how the life will be. Very cool, calm, if we are associating with Mahatmas. The great gates to liberation are opened if we are associating with. And then comes the next thing which he says there. We have discussed about the pleasure being just a dopamine. Parabhavastavad yavanna jignasa atma tattva. Parabhavas. So it's a great failure, a defeat, a misery. That's what is parabhavas. So everybody is defeated. because at the best he can stay for 100 years. That also very strugglingly they stay for 100 years. After that, what? After that, then they are defeated only. Time defeats them. So they may think that they are victorious because they are having all these facilities and all, but it is not true. They will be ultimately defeated by all these things. So, and then evam manah Krishna vesham prayukta. So in this he says that when living entity is covered by mode of ignorance, it does not understand the individual living being and the supreme living being, and his mind is subjected to fruitive activities. Therefore, until one has love for Lord, who is none other than myself, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. So here the formulas are giving. Bhakti Yoga, desist sense gratification and identify the self as a spirit, not body. So you will first get detachment, then tolerance, discipline, and devotion. So this is how the things are. So when the knot is slackened, one turns away from illusion of I and mine and ends transcendental. So we have to cut this bond. That's why it is said that vidyate hridaya grandhis. Hridaya grandhi means knots in the heart. They are very tight. Why these knots in the heart are very tight? Because we are identifying with the people who are around, the things around us with the body, I and mine. So that is the greatest knot. We have to untie it. And so with the bhakti, all these things come: detachment, tolerance, discipline, devotion. So these are what Rishabdev is explaining to his sons. He says that even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad if he does not understand that the endeavor for sense gratification is useless waste of time. So same point he is explaining in different ways. He started with the first thing. First the tapo divyam. So you do tapasya, no sense gratification. Then serve mahatmas, you will be free from that bondage. What is that bondage? The identification. Then he is telling that this enjoyment is available even hawks and dogs also. So why are you so much behind such enjoyment? Then later on he is telling that who are interested, who are considered sense gratification aim of life, they become mad. No, nunam pramatta kurte, that is madness. And then again he is telling, if you are, as long as you do not inquire about spiritual life, one is defeated. Parabhavasthavada bodha jate. Then he is telling, when a living entity is covered by ignorance, he does not understand the individual living being and the supreme, and his mind is subjected to fruitive activities. This is where we are all caught, fruitive activities. As long as we are interested in the results of activity, we are fruitive activities. So job, studies, anything we are interested in result. So even though one may be very learned and wise, he is mad. Yadana pashyeti avata guneham. So he does not understand that endeavor for sense gratification is useless waste of time. Again he is telling the same thing, and he says that being forgetful of his own interest, he tries to be happy in the material world, centering his interest around home, which is based on sexual intercourse, which brings him all kinds of miseries. Gata smritir vindati tatra tapam. And then he says that pumsam striya mituni bhavamit. So the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. And then he says, this strong knot in the heart of people implicate in material life due to results of his past actions. So all these things he is trying to make the same point, that you are wasting your time in sense gratification, don't do it. So the point is very simple. We have to understand this again and again. He says that the strong knot in the heart of a person implicated in material life due to the results of past action is slackened, one turns away from his attachment to home, wife and children. In this way, one gives up the basic principles of illusion. And here, O my sons, you should accept a highly elevated Paramahamsa. So this is the formula for anyone. We want to come out we have to know the formula, and the formula is very simple. We need a great soul. We have to serve him, we have to associate with him, and that's how the system works. And that's what Rishabdev is telling, and whole Bhagavatam is telling from the beginning to end. In this way, you should place faith and love in me, the Supreme Lord. You should detest sense gratification and tolerate the duality of pleasure and pain, which are like a seasonal change of summer and winter. Try to realize the miserable condition of living entity, which is who are miserable even in the higher planetary system. Philosophical inquiry about the truth. Thus, undergo all kinds of austerity, penance, and for the sake of devotion, give up the endeavor for sense gratification. So this the slide I showed is connected to this verse. So he's telling detachment, tolerance, discipline, and devotion. So this is with this verse number which we are discussing now. So this is from the verse number 10 to 13. So that is a slide for it. And then further he says that this we have so we'll take the next verse. कर्माश्रयं हृदयग्रन्थिबन्धम् अविद्यया साधितम् अप्रमत्तः अन्येन योगेन यतोपदेशं सम्यक् व्युत्पत्त्यो परमेति योगात्. He says that as I have advised you, my dear son, you should act accordingly. Be very careful. By these means, you will be free from ignorance of desire for fruitive activities. The knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. For further advancement, you should also give up means. That is, you should not become attached to the process of liberation itself. So, this is three things he is telling. Desire, free from ignorance of desire for fruitive activities, the knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. So when we stop doing fruitive activities, then only the bondage is getting stopped. This is a very important thing. Where we are making mistake is we are getting into bondage again and again. We are not understanding how dangerous it is to get involved in fruitive activities, because it looks quite normal to be fruitive. In this world, we are all struggling with that, and we are thinking it's fine. No, I am working and I should be attached to the results which I am working for. But they are telling no, it is not the way. So we should not work for fruitive results, but it is what is motivation for us. We are going for job, we want to have appraisals, promotions, better career, and when it comes to education, better career and all. Previously it was not like that. Like somebody is a potter, or somebody is a carpenter, somebody is a craftsman, he is a farmer. He will never think to become the some other thing. He will just want to do whatever he is doing, and he knows this is what I am supposed to do, and he is happy also in that. But now it is not like that. People are wanting to be somebody else. No, there is no promotion for a carpenter. He just have to do whatever work comes, and he is happy with it. and anybody, there is no corporate setup and industrial setup and all. So that makes actually very life easy for anyone. But presently, somehow the situations are made in such a way in Kali Yuga, everybody is forced to get into the rat race and get struggling. But that is increasing the fruitive mentality also. Because that is shown as success, unfortunately. And people are, everybody is in that direction. So we cannot avoid the situation now. It's not in our hand, but at least we should try that as minimum damage we can do for our system. So that much we should try for ourselves. So I'll just add few things for you here. This is a very important thing to understand. I'll just share the notes for you. Just a second. Yeah, please try to understand this concept, which is very important to analyze. So, first thing is fruitive activities. This is desire for fruitive activities. The first problem. Until this mentality goes, we will not be able to come out of the problem, the fruitive mentality. We have fruitive mentality everywhere. Because this is because of mode of passion. We are affected by mode of passion. So we have fruitive mentality. This cannot be avoided only. And the knot of bond in the heart. So when we give up this, then only the knots will go away. And further advancement should also give up the means. That is, you should also become attached to the process. You should not become attached to the process of liberation. So this is another problem. So here, fruitive mentality is karma. And then the process of liberation is what? Free from suffering. Free from suffering is what? Jnana. This is what is process of liberation. So is jnana. So now, when we are told we don't want to practice karma and jnana, but we are affected by karma and jnana. Where is anyapilashita shunyam here? So we have these two tendencies all the time going on in our system. Karma and jnana is always going on. So these two things are always stuck. That's why Krishna gave the two processes. So karma and jnana, but we want bhakti. So here karma works with senses and mind. This works with buddhi, but this works with our heart, chitta. So buddhi, senses, mind. Your understanding, that side is very deep. Of course, here ego is also there. But that is what Krishna is telling. No, not with mind, senses, buddhi. But you also have to put your heart, consciousness. That's why we are Krishna conscious. So the process of liberation is Brahma Jignasa. Search for absolute truth. Generally, Brahma Jignasa is called Naiti Niti, the process by which one analyzes existence to search out the absolute truth. This method continues as long as one is not situated in spiritual life in Brahma Bhuta. No, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. That is the state. So the idea is to enter into Parabhakti. So we don't want karma and jnana. What we want? Parabhakti, the transcendental devotional service. To attain this, one must analyze one's existence, but when one is actually engaged in devotional service, you should not bother seeking out knowledge, but simply engage in devotional service undeviatingly. One will always remain in a liberated condition. Mamcho avyavicharena. And another important feature in this connection is Anyena Yogena Yatopadesham. The instructions received from spiritual master must be followed immediately. One should not deviate. One should not be simply intent to consulting books, but should simultaneously execute the spiritual master's orders. The mystic power should be achieved to enable one to give up the material conception, but when one actually engages in devotional service, one does not need to practice the mystic yoga. The point is that one can give up the practice of yoga by devotional service, but devotional service cannot be given up. Atma Ramascha Manayo Nirkanta Purukrame Kurvanta Hetukim Bhakti. So very nice shloka Prabhupada is taking. So even when is perfect everything, but devotional service cannot be given up. So even Atma Ramas are also Kurvanta Hetukim Bhakti. They are also doing bhakti. So one may give up practice of yoga when one is self-realized, but at no stage can one give up devotional service. All other activities for self-realization, including yoga and philosophical speculation, may be given up, but devotional service should not be given up. And now we have next verse is Putrancha Shishyamcha Ripo Guru Va Malloka Kamo Mad Anugrahartha Ittam Vimanyur Anusishyad Ajat Jnana Na Yojayat Karmashu Karma Mudha Kim Yogan Manujo Atham Labheta Nipatya Nashta Drisham Iha Krite. It says that if one is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, he must consider the mercy of Supreme Lord, the summum bonum and chief aim of life. If he is a father instructing his sons, a spiritual master instructing a disciple, or a king instructing his citizens, he must instruct them as I have advised. Without being angry, he should continue giving instructions even if his disciple, son or citizen is sometimes unable to follow his order. Ignorant people who engage in pious and impious activities should be engaged in devotional service by all means. They should always avoid fruitive activities. If one puts into the bondage of karmic activity his disciple or son who is bereft of transcendental vision, how will one profit? It is like leading a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall. So here the section changes. To till now he told, Array, don't do this. Don't get engaged into jnana and karma. That is the last instruction he gave. And here he is started telling the responsibility what they should take responsibility. So what is that responsibility? You follow and you teach the same thing. If you are giving instruction, this is the instruction you should give. That's all. And means of course you can tell other things, but this is the main instruction, and this is the direction, the instructions of you should drive your family members, whoever is dependent upon you, and they will get benefited slowly. Even if you are having some family members, you are responsible, and one is serious to go back. One must consider mercy of Supreme Lord. If he is a father and son instruct in this way. So this is actually what is told. The instruction is given like this, and slide is also, I'll just show the slide for this. So one should not become a spiritual master, father, husband, mother, or worshipable demigod if they cannot save their dependents from the cycle of death. So this fellow is falling into a ditch. So engaging dependents in karmic activities, leading a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall down. So we should not engage them in karmic activity. But nowadays, all the parents are telling the same thing to children. Beta, work hard and you will enjoy. Arey, you cannot. That is not the instruction they should give. So here it is so clearly told. Don't give that instruction. So, na buddhi bhedam janiyed ajnana karma sanginam joshyate sarva karmani vidvam yukta samacharaha. So, even though it is told, one should not disrupt the minds of ignorants who are attached to fruitive activity, they should be encouraged not to refrain from work but from the path in the spirit of devotion. But we are trying to do the same. So, due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. He is simply bound by the material enjoyment, by lusty desires, and all his plans are made for this purpose. So, this is true for all of us before coming Krishna consciousness. He is simply bound by the material enjoyment, by lusty desires, and all his plans are made. I want to become rich, I want to become big house, big car. All these things are lusty desires. For temporary sense gratification, such person creates society of envy. Due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. The word nashtadrishashti, meaning one who has no eyes to see future, is very significant in this verse. So, nashtadrishti. Life goes on from one body to another, and the activities performed in this life are enjoyed or suffered in the next life, if not later in this life. One who is unintelligent, who has no eyes to see the future, simply creates enmity and fights with others for sense gratification. As a result, one suffers in the next life, but due to being blind, like a blind man, he continues to act in such a way that he suffers unlimitedly. Such a person is Mudha, one who simply wastes his time and does not understand Lord's devotional service. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritta mudhoyam nabijanati. So that's what Prabhupada is telling. In Katha Upanishad, it is said that although ignorant people still go to other blind man to follow, as a result both are subjected to miserable condition, the blind leading other blind to ditch. So someone is ignorant and addicted to path of samsara. How can one who is actually learned, merciful and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activity and thus further entangle in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on this way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this. So again and again he is telling the same, and but in a different way. So this is a very important point. What he is telling is, see, every time this word is coming, fruitive activity, from the first shloka onwards you are hearing this word. Because this tendency of karma is there. We have to know. We have to go for spiritual engagement. So advance in spiritual knowledge. So we have to get free from this mentality. I will try to explain it more deeply. Where all we have fruitive mentality. Then if you observe your day, whole day, how much we have this fruitive mentality, we will come to know. It is not, okay, I am not practicing karma. We are not practicing karma, but this mentality of karma is very much there. Try to understand this. I can honestly admit. When I post a video, I want to see how many people are looking at it. This is actually the fruity mentality. How many people are looking my video, or how many people are attending the class. Anytime we are in this direction, that is the fruity mentality. Of course, we want to please the Lord and Vaishnavas. That's why we want more and more devotees to get benefit. That is there. But otherwise also there is some fruitive mentality is there. How you are going to perform the activity. So we should understand this concept. Maybe I will tomorrow like that I'll try to explain it. And here the famous shloka. This is the shloka I wrote on my book. First book I started writing notes for. Then I joined ashram. Then I took a notebook. They gave a notebook to write it down, and I started writing my notes. And this is the first shloka I wrote on it in the first page. Why I wrote? Because I want to tell to my parents. See, one who cannot deliver his dependence on the path of repeated birth and death should not become a spiritual master, relative, father, husband, mother, or a worshipful demigod. So this is the shloka. Guru na sasyat, sasano sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, daivam na sasyat, na pita na sasyat, namo chetat samapayita mrityum. This is the verse which is very important for me when I was joining ashram. So I wrote this verse in the text. And because I had to fight with my parents for joining, so I need some reason. Then I was quoting this shloka for them. See, Bhagavatam is telling you should not take rest. You cannot become a mother, father, or anything if you are not delivering your dependence. I was quite fanatic that time. So this is a shloka I took. But anyway, this is a very important shloka also. There are many spiritual masters like Rishabh. They advise that one should not become a spiritual master if he is unable to save his disciple from the path of birth and death. Unless one is pure devotee of Krishna, he cannot save himself from the path of repeated birth and death. Tektva deyam punarjanma neti mameti shojana. So we have many instances in history illustrating Rishabhadev's instruction. Shukracharya was rejected by Bali Maharaj, and because he did not. So everything, actually one is supposed to give everything to Lord because everything belongs to him. So this is bhakti. Unless one is devoted, he cannot give everything to the Supreme. Unless one can do so, cannot become a spiritual master, husband, father or mother. Similarly, the wife of a Brahmana who are preparing sacrifice gave up their relative just to satisfy Krishna. This is an example of wife rejecting husband. Prahlad rejected his father. Bharat Maharaj rejected mother. So all the nice, very, very wonderful examples. The word Daivam indicates demigods or one who accepts worship from dependence. Ordinarily, the spiritual master, husband, father, mother or superior relatives accept worship from an inferior relative. But here Rishabdev forbids that first the father, spiritual master or husband must be able to release the dependence from the repeated birth and death. If he cannot do so, he plunges himself into the ocean of reproachment from his unlawful activities. Everyone should be very responsible and take charge of his dependents, just as spiritual master takes charge of his disciple, or a father takes charge of his son. All these responsibilities cannot be discouraged honestly unless one can save the dependence from the repeated birth and death. So here the most important word is responsibility. So this is what is the responsibility of the followers. So we will go for the next verse tomorrow. Any questions, comments? Okay, yes, Gail Mataji.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, just in connection with this last thing you said about taking you shouldn't have dependents unless you can liberate them. So my understanding is that since every living entity has their own free will, but having dependence means that you you try your best to point them in the right direction. Is it like that, or
Yes.
because? Okay, I just wanted to confirm that that's what the
Yeah,
purpose.
they may not take up. That is up to them whether they will do take it or not. But from our side, we should be properly giving them direction,
Yeah,
and that is they see what happens now. They themselves don't know what is right, so they think whatever is right they'll tell, no my dear son, you should become a good corporate and work very hard, and then you make good house, good wife, good children, and that's what they think is the purpose of life. So that's what they are telling. But here Rishabh is telling, Are, how can you lead a person into a deep dark well, and you are throwing him to, you yourself are blind, you don't know what is right, and you are making the people who are dependent also go in the wrong direction. So both are falling into well, blind leading the blind. That is actually what is happening. The parents themselves don't know what is right and what they are going to tell to the children, and they are themselves are they don't know how to eat, they don't know how to wear, they don't know how to do any activity properly. What they are going to teach their children, and this is actually what is happening. So no direction, everybody just do it. Don't, no need to follow any authority, no need to give respect to your elders. They don't have faith on the elders, and that's why the whole society is in so much turmoil. The main reason is there is no respect, there is no elders, there is no superiors. So it's all very this is all the modern culture, and it's all glories to French Revolution. It started from there and it ended with American Revolution and
but
after that rest is
in today's times, right? I'm just wondering how much we can blame parents for leading their dependents into a dark well when they are doing so conscientiously, that because they believe, although erroneously, but they do believe they have their dependents' best interest at heart. It's not that they are doing so maliciously. They think they're doing the right thing,
yeah. But they themselves don't know. They are blind themselves. That is the main point.
but they
What
don't
is
know
happening,
they're
na?
blind, right?
That,
They don't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, that is
And that's why
they, yes.
I'm like, I just want to cut them some slack because you know they of course the road to hell is paved with the best intentions, but best intentions are there.
Yeah, even though you have best intentions, because you are ignorant, uh, and they themselves actually not making an endeavor to understand what is right. That is also the mistake of parents. Say, I am not inquiring about working hard in understanding the purpose of life and the truth about life, the solutions for the problem. I am not making an endeavor, and I am not guiding my children also in that direction. So that is
Yeah,
the
but
mistake I am doing. I
yeah,
should
but
I should try to understand. No?
yeah, but if you a person will not try to inquire like that if they already believe that they know that this is the right thing, because they're blindly following what they've been taught also. So my point is that there's no scope or inspiration for trying to find out what is the right thing if you believe that, if you're working under the assumption that you already know what the right thing is.
Yeah, now comes the responsibility of devotees. They should go and tell the people and
Yeah, that's it. I
tell
think
them to do
it's
what is
only
right.
there. I think it's only now the responsibility of devotees because, you don't know what you don't know, right? The devotees know what
Yeah, yeah.
the conditioned souls don't know, but the conditioned souls themselves, they don't know what they don't know. So there's no scope for them
Scope for
inquiring
them.
about it.
Yeah, that is true at one level. What you are telling is, here comes the responsibility of devotees to guide them and take them in proper direction. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's actually the fault of, actually it was there till Middle Ages. The church was guiding and things were going in the direction, but slowly things changed and people started going in different direction, because that is the effect of Kali that is happening. And yeah, people, they are thinking this is the way to be happy, and they are thinking maybe my children, if I did not get happiness, at least my children should get happiness in this way.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they actually, that is true also. We cannot completely blame in the sense that they don't know, that's why, that's all, they are ignorant. Yeah. Prabhupada has to go all the way to America to deliver this knowledge, because he understood that people don't know. We have to help them. Yeah. Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila